When I started becoming a DJ, I start to feel that people feel the frequency and energy of the music that I play. Before, when I just wasn't really intentional with the tracks that I play, people are just getting drunk, and just dancing, and that's it. But when I started really like putting the work to all the music and the tracks that I play, I start to feel people like being healed with the right tracks.
Some people don't just speak, they transmit. And today I'm joined by Mikaehla Gabrielle, a singer, creator, and embodied force whose work carries a true darkness to light frequency. Many know her as the Cosmic Siren, an artist whose voice feels less like performance and more like remembrance. She is the founder of Celestial Council, a high frequency collective bringing together healers, artists, architects, innovators, and activators to build brands and curate experiences that elevate the human experience. Her work weaves creativity, consciousness, and advanced technology with deep wisdom and local transformation. She recently attended one of our healings, and something about her presence, her voice, and her vision stayed with me. So, this conversation is a deeper exploration of that. Of art as medicine, sound as frequency, community as the architecture, and what it means to create from devotion rather than identity. I'm so excited to get to know her alongside you. Let's begin. Welcome, welcome. So excited to have you on. I had no idea you were such an amazing singer.
Yes, I started as a singer. Like my whole career started as a singer because I really love music.
Yeah.
So it was really, you know, um, just to share a little bit why I love singing and why I started as a singer. It's because whenever I feel a specific kind of intense emotion when I was younger, I go to music and singing. I express it through singing.
Beautiful. Yeah. And growing up, was that like through music class or where did you sing? Where did you explore that?
Actually, it started from my mom being bored. It's actually very popular in Philippines, karaoke. So she always give me a mic, and whenever she's bored, she's like, sing, practice singing, because she loves music as well that much. Her and my dad. And so I started at a very young age, like 5 years old, 6 years old, started giving me a microphone and I just sing for her. So I started as that. She trained me. She's not a singer, but she has the ear. So, yeah.
And when did you realize that this was carrying more of a frequency than it was just songs?
Um, I think when I started becoming a DJ.
Okay.
When I started becoming a DJ, I started to feel that people feel the frequency and energy of the music that I play. So when I play before, when I just wasn't really intentional with the tracks that I play, I feel like people are just getting drunk, and just dancing, and that's it. But when I started really like putting the work to all the music and the tracks that I play, I start to feel people like being healed with the right tracks, with the right vocals, right lyrics. So yeah, this was just this year actually.
Really? Where was
Yeah.
it? Do you remember where you were?
It was in Philippines, in my home country. It was my first time playing there. It was this last January 24th. It was crazy. People were like sweating and they kind of like begged me to stay, to play more. And I was like, this is the kind of, thing I want to do. I don't want to just play music. I want to make people release their stress and all this negative blockages energy through dancing. So
Cool.
yeah.
And how does the Holy Spirit tie into that with you?
So there are some tracks that I chose. I mean, like right now I'm working on my album, but I didn't play any of my tracks yet. But there are some tracks that has some lyrics such as like "Set Me Free" and like "Divinity," like lyrics that's like really aligning with that frequency. I start to notice people like really, singing to it. And I feel the presence, while I was DJing. Because before I was kind of scared. I was like, if I become a DJ and I kind of like support people getting drunk and this drugs, so on and so forth, how does it make me as an inspiration, or am I being a good yeah, image, you know? And then that moment when that happened, you know, I literally put tracks that has this kind of lyrics, and I saw them singing to it while in the party, and I was like, whoa, this is a different kind of frequency, and I want to keep doing this. So after that, I made a conscious decision. I'm going to finish my album, my tracks, and I'm going to put it all there. So, yeah.
Amazing. And what has your relationship with God been like, your spiritual path? What brought you to understanding frequency in that way?
So I feel like God is kind of like, for me, my higher self, but also like um, invisible parents. It's a feminine, masculine figure for me. So whenever I need some sort of like answers or like guidance, since I was very young, I would say starting 3 years old, they already taught me how to pray. So I go ask God, and I somehow get some answers through my dreams or specific moments. Like, for example, right now, when I was young, I was like, oh, I'm praying for this. I want to have this toy or something like this. I will see it in my dream, and then my mom will give it in my Christmas as a Christmas present. So it was like, wow. So it's kind of like a manifestation, a way of manifestation as well for me. So
Cool.
yeah.
And growing up in the Philippines, were you religious or what was it like growing up there?
I would say it's spiritual, because religious, I kind of notice in Muslim or like Catholic, which is also beautiful, you know. I see the beauty in different religions, but growing up, I understood that it's more like spirituality, because we're tapping more into the spirit um, rather than routines or like, you know, like memorizing prayers. It's more like tapping into your own Holy Spirit to come into your temple and use it as a guide and as your higher self. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Amazing. And this new group of people that you're bringing together, what is the group called? Is it CSTL, or I was wondering how to pronounce it?
Celestial.
Celestial. That's what I
Yes.
was wondering. So it's Celestial
Celestial
Council.
Council.
Yeah. So tell me more about that then. What does that do?
So basically, Celestial Council, it's a collective. There was a time when I was in Thailand, I was channeling a lot. I was meditating for hours a day because I wanted to find answers. So before Thailand, I was living in Dubai for 3 years, and I was kind of like lost in this realm of like material realm. So I was like, I wanted to ascend, you know, I wanted more wisdom. So I went to Thailand, I got an offer there. So during these 8 months, I was going deep into my spirituality. I would say this is the peak of my spiritual awakening. And then I saw in my visions that I need to build some sort of like a council that are all spiritual leaders, but also visionaries, artistic, talented, beautiful, vibrant group of people. And it's going to be consisting of 13 people in this circle, mainly as leaders. And then they have their own communities, they have their own projects. And within the communities, they have community leaders. And it's going to grow like kind of like, it's going to be contagious. So I had that vision, so I started it. I registered this as a company entity in Dubai. And while I was in Dubai, this is where it flourished a lot, because they somehow need some sort of like wisdom and experience to what actually really light is. So during my events in Dubai, this is where I find people who are spiritually aligned. And I understood that there's a frequency in Dubai that really matches this vision. So yeah, now I would say I already kind of like gathered all of these people or these leaders, I would say, and we're ready to activate. We're activating the projects. And to cut it short, it's 12 key sectors of different industries, and at the core, which is the 13th, as the spirituality. This is the core essence of this collective.
And when you talk about light, what do you mean by that?
Light is, for me, it's love. I mean, it's not just light. We need to go through darkness as well to be able to get light. It's a balance, but light, because it's healing for me, light and love. It's the only thing that I feel like I can go to whenever I'm too much in the dark. But I need the darkness as well sometimes, to understand light. So, yeah.
And when you talk about darkness, what was dark for you in your path? What were your dark parts?
It's a lot. It was, it's been a journey. I would call it, I've had 9 deaths. And this 9 deaths, I've seen the realms. I mean, like, some people will think I'm crazy, but I understand that I need to go through this to understand different levels of wisdom and what I teach to people and my community. So this 9 deaths are like where I kind of like understood different levels of darkness. And as I go through this darkness and dark side of me, as I unveil or I shed the skins and layers, the more I see light. So the more painful it is, the more light I get. And when I was young, growing up in countries such as Philippines, they say it's a third world country. I don't know, like, what is third, first, second, to be honest, because I feel like it's a frequency. It's not just because this country is this and that. But there's been a lot of, like, people that are abusing children and women, and I've seen it with my own eyes. And yeah, that's where it started. I thought that before, when you experience such things, such as being abused by different people, experiences, and circumstances, that's it. But then I understood that it's just part of the journey.
Have you ever read anything about Mary Magdalene?
Yes.
Yeah. So when she discusses all of the
Have
pathway
goosebumps.
to enlightenment is really how I see it as well, and
Yeah.
how the Bible has really hidden a lot of the information that really sets it all free with the divine masculine, feminine within, and through the darkness we do have access to more light because it doesn't exist without the other, and the spectrum is the same in the polarity. So right now we've got massive darkness in the world. Epstein files have just been released, seeing that the entire world, goosebumps as well, is corrupt. Every system, every political leader is all a part of it. And then there's us.
Yeah.
So what do we do with that? How do we shift people and move them through these dark days? Because they are here.
Yeah. To be honest, I feel it a lot. I cry almost every night. And I just, always try to remember this verse. I actually shared it on my story today. Do not be afraid. And the more you hold into that faith, we're going to be able to surpass that. I know that we are meant to meet, to understand, and be on like this, especially women, because it's happening already. We are in a spiritual war, and the people who hasn't done the work, they're actually gonna feel it more, the darkness. So people like us who's done the work will be prepared when that time comes. But yes, people are suffering. But from my upbringing, my auntie, she's the most spiritual one. I learned everything from her. She had cancer, she had leukemia, she had all types of illnesses, but she healed all of that through prayer and faith. And of course, with the help of us, her family, there was some times when I was younger, she had some sessions where she started to speak in tongues. And one time, the first moment I remember, she started like talking in, what's this, Chinese. And she doesn't know Chinese. So what happens before she starts talking, she will faint. And as she faints, she will start become cold with all her body. We will try to wake her up, but we start to feel a presence where it's like we shouldn't bother, we shouldn't be scared, right? So we start waiting for her to wake up, and the moment she wakes up, it's not her. We know she's there, but there's a spirit, a powerful spirit that's using her temple. And she's a virgin, at that age. She was 30, 40s, I think. I don't remember her age. But yeah, so I know that as a pure being, she's capable to, handle spirit. So the spirit was saying that when the time comes in Chinese, and it's crazy, I don't know why I'm understanding it at 7 years old. It was just saying some stuff like, you guys have to be prepared. This family has a mission, and you have to be prepared, and you have to hold into that faith. But don't worry, the light has already won. So you have to experience it, go through it, but don't give up. So I held into that. And it happened 3 times, this session. And as I went out of my country and traveled the world, I have it. So every moment, everything that happened to me, I know it's a spiritual part of my spiritual journey. Even the losses, the wins, the people, the heartbreak, um, material success, and so on and so forth. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that. There's been a lot of people that have come on my podcast that have explained similar situations of, the loss of consciousness, and in that, the spiritual, and also the cleanliness of the soul. The worst thing that we could do to a human being is sexualize them as a child, because we take away their connection, and we taint them with an energy that causes them to shame themselves and to turn away and shame everything about themselves and hide from God.
Exactly.
Who loves you unconditionally no matter what you've done, where you've done it, whatever's happened. God made us in his image with free will. And why would a God do that? Right? Why would God do that if he wasn't, or should I say mother, father, God here, right? Because I'm not like, I don't believe God is gendered.
Yeah.
If we weren't meant to experience all of it. And I think if people can take a second that are listening to this, especially like your hyper Christians, hyper Muslims, if you're really, really attached to your religion, and just take a pause to think about what every religion is trying to explain.
Yeah.
Which is that there is a light, there is a place, there is a heaven. Yeah? And what most people believe is that we've been kicked out.
Yeah.
And we're trying to get back in. And we're only allowed back in if we do this, 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 this. And that's where every religion has different arrangements for how we get back in. But what if you were never out?
Yeah.
What if you just had to remember that you've never been out of the light? And that the whole journey is in coming back to the light of all that you are.
100%.
And it's so hard to conceptualize a conversation like that to people that are bought into the fear of propaganda and the sexuality. What do you think is the hardest thing then in understanding this and then entering into those party spaces as a DJ? Because you're seeing disassociation at its finest.
Yeah.
Most people that are going to those events are not, like, it's funny. It's like ecstatic dance doesn't do it for me. But when I go to the club, everyone's dissociative and traumatized, and I want to heal them all and help them all. So where do I go, right? Because this is spiritual bypassing, this is disassociation. So is there a place in the middle where the conscious people can come and actually have real fun?
Yeah. So this is actually what we're building right now. And it's been a journey, but it's a lot of experimentation, events like, for example, we did the first event in Dubai. It's a sound healing journey that turns into a party, and I noticed that it actually does a lot of effect when you start it that way, because people are more connected, and then when they start to party, they're more intimate with each other, they have better energy rather than just the party. But it really depends, as I notice. But I know that there's gonna be a time where most of the parties are gonna be just like, okay, what's next? People are starting to stop drinking alcohol and blah blah blah.
Yeah, but the drug thing, everyone's on drugs though.
Yes, no,
You know,
yes.
it's not a sober party if everyone's on ketamine. I'm
Exactly.
so tired of that. I'm
Me
going
too.
to a sober party. I'm like, well, you're all blown out on ketamine telling me it's a Kundalini awakening, and it isn't.
Exactly.
But how do we create and curate experiences where we can be and play and create
Yeah.
and dance without that hypersexualization or without the drugs that cause us to leave? Like, how can we bring and curate an experience where we're fully present
Yeah.
without the need for everything else? Do people even want that?
Yeah.
That's the second question I have. Does anybody actually want to be here now? I struggle with that.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, also I get doubt sometimes, like, okay, am I really supposed to do this? Because especially in Bali, people are really, especially last night, there was a crazy party called Utopia, and everyone's going there. It's like hypersexuality, everyone's naked, it's crazy. I'm like, how? And my friends are inviting me. I said, no, I'm not gonna go there, it's a devil's party. It's really bad, like, this BDSM kind of stuff. It's literally the concept of the party, and I'm like, oh.
But there again is the darkness, right? Now, that part that it's been ruined and tainted by the power. Like when we're younger, we're like, why are we wearing clothes?
Yeah.
Why are we shamed for our bodies?
Yeah.
It's
Exactly.
because there's a dark energy that's tainted in. Like every man and every woman has desire. Mary Magdalene talks about this. But to act on it is the sin. We all have it.
Yeah.
Who doesn't look at a beautiful person and think dirty thoughts? Right? If you want to tell me that you don't, you do.
Yes.
That's the darkness. But the darkness exists. It's like, for example, the rage, right? Like if I have a child someday and somebody's going to come and hurt my child, you bet your ass you're going to see rage.
Yeah.
So rage, when used in the right way, is not actually a sin.
Yeah.
So that means that sin and everything else, it's all dependent on the situation. It's all, it changes depending on how you look at it. So how do you define right, wrong, dark, light, this, that? What if everything just is?
Exactly. I agree with this 100%.
And it's so hard to explain it
to people, right?
But I'd love to know, coming from you're a DJ and you're a singer and you have all this vibration and you're on the spiritual path and you want to create these experiences. What's in the way of them becoming that?
Okay. So I think I want to start it off with love. I think this is a very important part of like everything that has happened to me. Love really healed everything for me, and I didn't know that it's possible. So I was actually posting that just recently during Valentine's Day, because I understood that love can be the illness, can be the pain, can hurt you the most, but it's also itself the medicine and the cure. So I like understanding this message, I really dove deep into it. I was like, why? But why? Why is it love is the pain and it's also the cure? Then I understand how God really moves, that God is actually the balance, the between, like doesn't exist between, it exists between time and space. Doesn't exist, sorry. Love exists beyond time and space. Sorry, I want to correct that. And God is love. And when you find love, doesn't matter whether it's a friend or your partner, the most powerful for me is my partner, because I've seen like what true love means, and it healed all my traumas, because he loved the parts of me that I couldn't love, that I thought is, like bad, or like, oh, I'm ashamed of, So that's why one of the main ethos of Celestial Council is to help people find their divine union. And I've coupled up some friends of mine, and now they're like, wow, they don't remember me anymore because they're always together. But it's amazing. I love it. Some already had kids. My auntie, I was telling you that she was single for until 4 years old. And then there's this guy that was going around the house, and I was like, who is this guy? And I told her, oh, this guy is in love with you. And then she was like blown her mind. She was like, I'm like 40 years old. No one's gonna fall in love with me. And then after 2 months, she told me, you had the tongue of an angel. I'm engaged now. It was crazy. So anyway, going back, one of my mission is to find and help people to find their divine union. And having your divine union actually helps you a lot, makes you understand that, oh, it's not actually the end of the world. There's another dimension that exists, where it's like love, that it's forgiving, and it's like God. So the moment I saw that in my partner, like how Jesus is, of course he's not perfect, but it's like Jesus is like, when you feel his presence or the frequency, and you find that in a partner, it changes everything. It changes everything. Now you have a person who believes in you. Now you have a person who kind of like holds you whenever you're falling apart, and it makes your mission more easier. So yeah. Going back, what was I saying about love?
No, and I think just to comment on the divine union part, I think people are so tainted in what relationship really is, right? When you step into divine union, you're basically saying, I am whole. I am whole in my masculinity. I am whole in my femininity.
Yeah.
I am a sovereign being of light. I know my weaknesses. I know who I am. And I'm willing to stand and love you no matter what. And it's a commitment. It's a mirror. Because you're basically saying that you've found a person that is you in the whatever sex you decide, because I don't care about any of that. And that person, you're making a conscious decision to step into union. And in that, every time one person ascends and experiences a little more light during any spiritual healing or anything like that, then exposes all the parts of the shadow, and you're saying, I'm willing to love you anyway.
Yeah.
So with my partner and I, when we meet certain aspects, it's really hard. I'm like, is he going to run? And we consciously step in again. It's like, we're going to make the choice to step in again, because love isn't the first 6 months butterfly stage. Love is staying when it gets hard.
Yeah.
It's true, when they look at the prayer even of in sickness and in health, it's not just sickness health-wise. It's like your emotional sickness. I'm going to stand by you and be with you. And I was lucky enough to hold you and your partner the other day in an energy session. And it was beautiful to witness you healing side by side. That's the medicine.
Yes.
To be able to sit in a space and release what's no longer serving you, and know that on the other side of releasing rage, which was what he was releasing, you were still going to love him on the other side. He felt safe enough to go there. And that is love. Yeah. Love is holding somebody else's darkness. And I think what we do in this world is we're too busy shaming everyone and judging everyone to look and see that everything inside each one of them is inside us too.
Yeah.
I am the predator and the abused.
Yeah.
I am all of it.
Exactly.
You
just have to accept that, acceptance of the flaws and everything. Actually, I wanted to say thank you for that experience. It's so crazy because I've been praying for that. I've been praying for a moment where we both heal in that way in session, because okay, he's scared to cry. I know that he's been through, in his childhood as a man, you're not allowed to cry, you need to be strong, you need to be tough. And I sometimes I intentionally make him cry so that he releases some stuff. But it's not every day. So when that happened, I was like, wow. And that's why I felt more of this like power and love and light when that happened, because I was like, finally, like he released this. I was waiting for that. He needed that.
We
So
all need
yeah,
that. And
exactly.
the whole human race needs that. So whether you can release your emotions with music,
Yeah.
if that's your way, do it. If you need to go to breath work, if you need to go work out, whatever it is, like let yourself feel and let yourself get in the body and let go of what's no longer serving you, so that you can step further into your light, because you're not kicked out of the kingdom. The kingdom is now.
Exactly.
It's right here. We have it. And look at all the beautiful people that have somehow been called into these places. Dubai is huge. Bali is huge.
Yeah.
We've left where we came from to create something different in a world that's collapsing, and it's collapsing because of the light. So like you said, do not fear.
Yeah.
We've already won.
Exactly. I love it. I'm so happy that I came into this podcast today. And it's New Year, Chinese New Year. Kung Hai Fa Choi. And I felt the energy of the fire horse in this very day. And they said, right, like in Revelations, that when Jesus is in his second coming, it's like he's riding a horse of fire. And I felt that it's not actually just Jesus as a human figure coming in, it's like his consciousness, her, whatever we want to call it, the divine consciousness is overflowing the moment this year enter. And it's the year of Aquarius also. And Aquarius is like, the symbol is like pouring the water. So it's like cleansing, total cleansing, and all this darkness is going to come out, but it needs to come out, because if there's no darkness, people are not understand what light is, right? And
Exactly.
It's like, what is God? What is consciousness? What is love? What is all of this?
You got to go into the darkness to find it. And that's why everyone fears rejection. They fear abandonment. They fear ending up alone. They fear betrayal. They fear abuse, right? And in that, we create all these attachments to all these people and places and things we need to feel safe. Yeah. But in the moment you face that wound and you go into the alone, God is there. The light is there, and you're safer than you could ever be, because the only thing that truly loves you unconditional is the light.
Exactly.
And you got to go into the darkness to find it.
Exactly.
So for anybody that's watching, I know this was a short, powerful podcast. Cosmic Siren over here. Look for her on Spotify. And if you're in the thick of it, if you're in the darkness, sit in it a little longer. Like she said 9 deaths. 9 deaths. And yeah, I would say I'm probably somewhere around there too. Every time I die in there, I call it the washing machine. And it sucks in there. It sucks. So if you're in the thick of it, just trust and follow God. Surrender to the plan. Trust that on the other side is something better than you could ever imagine.
100%. Also, thank you to Mary Magdalene for all of her work and her consciousness, now overflowing as well as the divine feminine counterpart, right? I see her a lot in my dreams, and it's really beautiful that she's still here, with us.
I just feel it. Yeah. Yep. I'm actually going to Glastonbury to her well in 3 weeks. So
really,
just gonna go sit there.
What is this well?
The well. So there's a lot of stories about her preaching in France and up in Glastonbury in England. Wow. So I'm gonna go and sit in the well and do some work for the feminine up there by myself.
Wow. Wow, thank you for doing this work for all the women in the world, because not everyone can actually have the time to go there, and one person actually doing the work is equals to 1,000,000.
I know, right?
Yeah.
We're so much more powerful together in the grid of light, aren't we? Yeah, so how can people follow you and find you and found all of the different things that you're going to be doing?
Okay, guys, so follow me on Instagram at Kayla. I also am launching my YouTube channel. We will showcase all the sets, DJ sets that I'm gonna be playing, and lifestyle, and so on and so forth. A lot of things gonna be released in my YouTube channel, and also on Spotify. Kayla, I'll be releasing my album in 3 months, and I put a lot of work. I put my soul into it, and I feel like the world really needs to hear the message through my tracks, and I want to heal them through my music. And also, I don't do TikTok a lot, but just follow me in case. I will post a lot about my insights as well on TikTok. So I have a team who's handling TikTok since I'm not good at it. And yeah, Cosmic Siren, thank you.
Thank you. Mikaehla's work reminds us that art isn't something we produce, it's something we allow. That sound, creation, and community are really not luxuries, but technologies of healing and coherence. So, whether you're an artist, a builder, a healer, or simply someone longing to feel more alive, I hope this episode opened something in you, a frequency, a curiosity, or a deeper permission to create from truth. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you in the next episode.